everybody, and Mickey.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Paula.
Hi. This is really exciting. It's like totally new experience for me.
I think it's a totally new experience for almost everybody.
Yeah, probably. Actually, it's funny because I have been making clothes since I was 9 years old. So, and professionally, I have been doing this now for 23 years. And I have actually never been mentored before. So,
Oh, I feel honored. I feel honored.
yeah, it's really exciting and nerve-wracking also. Like, oh, I don't know.
Definitely. Well, I'm excited. I've taken a look at some of your stuff, and I'm very excited to hear more about it and see more about it from you and help you in any way that I can and answer any questions that you have or give any feedback that my decades in fashion can hopefully shed light on.
Yeah. Well,
do you want to dive right in? Because I know we have a limited amount of time and we have so much to talk about.
Yeah. So a little bit about MEM. Like I have been doing it now for 8 years, and it started as a kind of like a side project because I have been running my own business for 13 years. And through my business, we have been repairing, alterating, and making custom-made work from like recycled materials. So when I started MEM, at first it was this project which I was doing with some other people. And then as I didn't get them to do what I wanted, I was like, oh shit, I need to do this by myself first because nobody had done that before. And my aim was to use post-consumer waste, so the part which is left over when we are done with our fashion, to use that part of the material flow and create it into a collection which could be serial producible and different sizes. So voila, that's it. So if I switch to the slide now, let's see how this works. Now it's screen sharing. Is it? Yes, should be.
Yes.
I'm gonna get this open here. So this is actually the main idea of MEM, that they are deconstructed. I think that should be reconstructed. But anyway, upcycle process. It's actually not about the clothes itself. Like when I first started, I thought that I was making my own clothes and my designs and my forms. That had been my dream since I was a child. But then during the years and when I got like further with the collection and I made more of the collections every year, I thought like there is something behind this like production process which I need to really go into, like create a method how to use this stuff so other people somewhere someday could do the same. So this is basically the thing. So very clearly, MEM is a design process, a method, a new way to design and produce clothes from post-consumer waste. Not only a collection of jackets, dresses, pants, and such, you know? Okay? So how it works. The process is quite like it's here, like in 3 photos. Of course, I didn't find the middle photo should have been like jeans which has been like cut down and stuff like that. But anyway, what I do is that I'm working with different recycling centers, and I have been working with almost all which we have here in Finland during my years. So what I would do is that I would order from the recycling center a certain amount of jeans, for example. And these are jeans which cannot be sold anymore. So they are like leftover stuff for the second-hand sellers. Then I would slice them up, like make them into pieces, and then finally it would come out as this bright picture here. This is actually from my 2017 collection called Revolt, and the suit name is Deviance, because I always like to make these magnificent names to my things. And very often,
yeah. Do you decide what fabric you want and then you contact them, or do you maybe talk to them and see, well, what do you have a lot of that I could use? How does that process work?
Well, actually, because I have been working with recycled materials for 13 years, I know quite well what kind of like material flow they have. For example, the seasons go differently in the recycling centers than in the shops. So the stuff which you are not using right now is on the recycling center. So it's kind of like the seasons are upside down in the other part, like in the end part of the process. And of course, like mainly like denim, I have been using really a lot of denim in my collections because there is a lot of it, like really a lot. Like mostly the recycling centers, they're really in trouble with the waste part. They, like in Finland here, which is a real shame, but afterwards when they can't anymore sell the stuff and well, they send it to the third world part, like countries, so it's quite a damaging thing to do. So that's why I tend to use the post-consumer one. But anyway, what I hear very often is that this can't be like done in bigger series, like in how do you say? I'm getting lost with words. Like it cannot be done in the industrial, way, because of the fiber consistency and that the materials are not homogenic, which is like when you think of traditional clothing and making the clothing, you need to have like homogenic material. So for me, that's not a problem because it's only a matter of how you design the clothes. For example, here on the left is the jacket from a Revolt collection called Revolution. And actually, you can see that in the shoulder part, I would use material which has more elastane in it because this part of the body needs more flexibility. So it's not a problem to me to have different kind of like fiber consistencies in the material. And even the outlook of the material can alterate. Then on the right photo, I just want to show that I have been using also different kind of like materials. For example, here is like thick cotton jersey on the guy, and the front girl has cotton jersey, like the thin one. And then there is of course leather too, which is from leather jackets. So it differentiates during like the season what kind of material flow they have, but like cotton is quite the big part of the materials which are circling around.
Cool.
Okay, then one thing which is really important with the post-consumer waste things is refinement. As the materials very often have different kind of like shades of denim, like the blue is always different and it has different kind of like shades on it. And then if we talk about the denim which has a lot of elastane in it, it very often has quite rough looking surface structure. So in my two collections, I have been using this, I call it a net print, as you can see on the right. And the net print is really interesting because it doesn't only fix the look problem of the denim, it actually recreates the surface to the denim. And I just a few months ago got back a pair of jeans which my customer bought like 4 years ago. And she had been wearing those pants like every day. They were like the super number one pants for her. And actually the denim had been warning off from the places where there were no print. So actually I proved myself that my theory of this net print, that it would fix the surface, was totally right. And I was like, whee! Yeah. It was quite amazing.
It looks great. It looks very elevated, I have to say, with the net print.
Yeah, and it like the blue are different. Of course, you have to always think of the symmetry. So, for example, here, this jacket is from my 2016 collection called Some. So I always have to, like when you break down the jeans, you have to always pair them up because you need to always have symmetric pieces to each side of the body if you are not making asymmetrical clothing. So for example, here, the parts are like the same parts from different sides of the pants. And actually, I mainly use the pants. They're very fantastic for this. Then there is only few things left, but a very important thing is reshaping. And this is, I think this is a part which not very many people, even if they use upcycling as a method, they don't realize this. But when you take discarded clothing, there is a lot of form which you can reuse, and there are a lot of seams which you can like reduce too. So if you take the old clothes and you know how to reshape them into a new form without like dismantling them, you can get up to 60% of seams or forms which you can straight move into the right, like the new clothes. For example, here, there on the left, this is a limit shirt from my Revolt collection, and this round thing, like the circle here, is pointed into this. I don't know the name in English of this seam, but like both of these seams which are in the circle are already in this cloth before it's sewn together. And on the right, you can see Revolution jacket, and there is the same thing, like most of the seams are already there. And this puffiness on the sleeve, it is actually coming out from the inner thigh of the leg part. So I don't have to create that kind of form, it's there already. Well, okay. Then the last thing, but not the least, I think. What is really important also is the natural resources. As we know, fashion industry is quite damaging to earth, and especially the production rhythm is so tight, like so fast, we create a lot of waste. I had this memo about getting these nice like fun fact for you, but like I think we hear that all the time, like how much of this we do and that we do and how this is damaging that and water is getting low, la la la. So I'm only focusing like on what MEM does. So if we take like for example here on the right I have this Deviant suit from my Revolt collection, and when I make that these two pieces of clothing, I would need 8 pairs of jeans, which are discarded. And when I cut them out like into pieces, I would still use at least 85% of the old material. So I would save all the natural resources which are put into these discarded jeans. So what is interesting is that when I'm making MEM, it's the only collection that gets double like natural resource saving like numbers. And it's only because I'm using the post-consumer waste. Because if I would buy this jacket and the trousers from MEM, I would not buy the new one, so I would save the natural resources which would go into a new denim suit, and then I would also save the clothes which would otherwise be burned or something else in the recycling system. And if you calculate how much of natural resources is put into this piece of or these two pieces of clothing, it's 54,512 liters of fresh water. And then if you put that into years of somebody's life, it's 24 years of drinking water for somebody. Only by doing this 1 or 2 pieces of clothing. Well, yeah, that's it for that.
Nice. So what do you think, what is your biggest challenge working with post-consumer waste, and in terms of getting the customer to embrace it? Do you have that? Is that a problem at all?
I don't think the problem is the consumer, because I haven't really gotten any negative feedback like during these 8 years from the customers. I think if somebody is given the opinion to get something done for them, or to buy something which is a bit even unique, like if you, even if you would have like full room full of MEM, like made in different scale, like from XS to XL and stuff like that, like different sizes, they would all be a little bit different from each other. And actually, I have gained only like positive feedback from that, which is really interesting. But I think my like the main problem has been to how to, how do you say, confirm or get declared as real designer.
Mm-hmm.
Because somehow like the fashion scene doesn't see the way I'm doing things, because it's like I'm doing it, well, I'm, of course I have my own techniques and stuff, but like I'm doing it so differently that I have been just told like, no, that's not scalable, that's not donable, like you can do it only in unique pieces. Like that's not true. It only differentiates a little bit like in the production process. But how to get the right people to understand that there is potential in this, because post-consumer waste is a big problem, like globally. Like we are drowning into the post-consumer waste we are creating every day. So, and there is no like techniques to get rid of it. Actually, in Finland, we are quite ahead of in this process. We have built these huge like facilities which are burning the clothes after they are discarded. But for example, in Finland, the problem is that we don't have enough of the waste to put into that burner. So we have to bring in clothes from abroad, and of course other stuff too. It's not only clothes, but anyway, like many people say that it's a good thing that we are burning it. But I don't think so, because like the amount of energy which you get when you put the natural resources into the burner, it doesn't like compare. We don't get that water back. We don't get that earth back ever again. It doesn't come back to the system. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a little bit of energy, like a percentage of energy back from that, I don't think it's worth it. And we need to find new ways to do things.
Mm-hmm. And so tell me a little bit about, like, do you then, the way, you try to reuse seams that are already existing, so then do you make a pattern, and then so it's similar that way to the design process, or is it each individual piece you work with the denim you have, or is it similar, like I said, that there's a pattern and then you can sort of mass produce designs?
Yeah, exactly. When I first started, the main goal was to make it serial producible, like that you could scale it up to different kind of sizes, and you could just like that you have the method behind the item, and then you could just do it again and again and again. Okay, so that was my main aim, and that's how I do it. Of course, in the process when I'm designing a new collection, for example, I might do first a rough piece, which I do as a one piece only, like unique piece. But then afterwards, it combines into the traditional production methods. So it goes into the pattern making. We make rough patterns out of it. Then we check out the patterns. We make one test piece out of it and check everything is still working. And then we scale it down, or scale it up. How do you say that? Yeah.
I love it. So, what are your goals for the future?
Oh, I think I'm really in an interesting point of my career, because until now I have been taking care of a lot of people. Like I have had like 15 people around me maximum, which I had a few years back. like trainees and like students and stuff like that. And I think I'm in a phase where I have like pushed everything like further from me, so I could concentrate on what I want to do. And what I would really want to do is to get ahead with MEM and see where it could lead.
And so what do you need, do you think, to take it to where you want it to go? Is it money? Is it resources? Is it support? What do you think you need to realize those goals?
Well, of course, in this world, you need money to everything. but I think I'm quite the magician in a way, because I didn't put a lot of money to MEM until now. I have everything I have done throughout my firm, which is like running here on the side. But I think resources and human resources, like people who would be interested, people who could tell me what to do, where to get where to go with the collection, and how to get ahead, how to find the infrastructure which could form into remaking things and remaking post-consumer waste.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. And tell me a little bit about what the prices are like.
Well, they are of course not your average H&M stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But until now, as I'm making it, like I have my test pieces, I have all like here all the time. But I don't do any stock right now because my like sources are very limited and my space is really limited. So I only make by order these pieces, and they start from 120 euros to they go until I think 700, 800 euros right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they drop there. But of course, if you would make this in serial, like you would make 100 or 1,000, of course, that changes the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. And how do customers usually find you?
Through internet. I think one of my problems is that as I'm making a little bit more specific and maybe how do I say, more avant-garde stylish clothing, there is really anyway in Finland, the people who are consuming fashion is like, I don't know, it's little. And what we like as a design here in Finland is this plain Nordic line, which means a box.
Yeah.
And it's even better if it's jersey and it has some prints on it. And if it costs under 50 euros, it's perfect. So I think my name should go out from Finland at least.
Well, I wonder maybe you could do like a collaboration with Marimekko or some Finnish brand to sort of bring your post-consumer waste thing to something that's very familiar. I assume Marimekko is very popular in Finland. Yeah. So I mean, maybe if you put the two of you together, that would be an interesting thing. So maybe we need to work on that. Yeah, if you'd be interested. Are we supposed to ask people if they have any questions, or?
Yeah, I think I have to check on my WhatsApp because we are getting. Paula, did you have? Yeah, actually, somebody is asking about this open source thing because we have, with my colleague, we made one Fashion Revolution collection, which was called. Oh my God, I don't remember. But anyway, we made it in open source. So we published all the instructions for the clothing. And this is something which I'm really keen on. I would really like to get MEM into that kind of position where I could also like either sell the instructions for the clothing, or then if it would get so nicely going that I could just give them out. That would be really interesting too, because I'm not so keen on commerciality. Of course, that's an important part of business, but I would really also want to see the impact which that could make, like even throughout the world. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, why not? I will.
Yeah, I love it. Although always, you know, it's fine that you're not super commercial, but at the same time, you do. I think you understand you do need to make some money just to be able to keep doing what you're doing. So don't always, maybe try to sell it before you give it away.
Yeah. Of course, that's the main thing. Like that's the first thing, and then give it away. On the side, like the old collection can be sold like into the open source. Sold to the open source. That's interesting.
Yeah. And you looked into sourcing fabrics from other countries besides Finland, or no?
Well, actually, with this Future future collection, which I'm now doing for Helsinki Fashion Week, I'm actually collaborating with Finnish Pure Waste Textiles, and they actually produce their like the materials in India. They have their own facilities there, and they are using actually like pre-consumer waste parts to create the fabric. And now they have even launched this fabric which has 40% of post-consumer waste in it. So it's really interesting to work with them. Yeah.
That's great.
New things also.
That's good. You always have to keep trying new things.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I think what you're doing is great and interesting, and it's hard because you're sort of the future, and fashion, people think fashion is so avant-garde and so forward because it's women and gays and it's creative, but really fashion is very backwards, and it's like, I'm not surprised you've been getting the difficulty you've been getting, because in fashion we do what we've always done just because that's what we've done. So anytime a person wants to try something different, people are confused and mad, you know what I mean, instead of thinking, wow, this is what we need to do for the future. So but hopefully that is changing a bit, as younger people certainly more concerned about all the things you've talked about the earth, about how much waste goes into things, how people are treated along the supply chain. Things like, people love a $10 dress from H&M, but they, at the same time, the workers aren't paid, people are treated badly, it's terrible for them. All those things people care more about. So hopefully they're willing to pay more and willing to look other places other than these giant fast fashion chains. So I think you're in a difficult place, but at the same time, a great place that's leading the way. My pleasure.
But I'm certain that in the next 5 to 10 years we are going to see a major change in the fashion industry globally. Like, there are going to be a major change. And I think one of the things is that service is going to be brought into the middle of the selling business too. But anyway.
Well, you're ready. You're ready for the future.
Yeah, I have been ready too long already, I think.
Well, that's the thing about being a pioneer. It's a very lonely business. You're far ahead, but eventually people will catch up, I hope.
I think it's funny because some of my designs are like, I have made, like, for example, some pants 5 years ago, and now I'm looking like the trend, like, oh yeah, it's coming in.
So bring them back. Bring them back. You know what I mean?
I thought of, like, I have to put them into closets and then take them out when they're ready.
That's true. Or kind of have them as like evergreens, kind of things that you kind of can get regularly. You know what I mean? Because it's true. You're probably far ahead, and by when people want them, it'll be good for you to just sell them when people want them, as opposed to trying to lead people.
Maybe I should do that.
Okay, Paula. Well, congratulations. Everything. It looks really great.
Yeah.
And you know where to find me if. Okay.
Okay. It was really nice talking to you, and I think we are in the end of our time here.
Okay. Well, you know where to find me if you have any other questions. I'm happy to help you, give you any advice anytime. Okay. Thanks, Paula. Bye, everybody. Okay.
What is it?
Designers who are lacking validation despite their talent and work, is to get used to it. I know that's not the advice you want to hear, because I've been covering fashion for almost 30 years, and the people who get the most validation and most recognition are not the most talented. That's how it is. There are always people who are super talented, super innovative. As Paula was talking about, people who do things years before other people, and somehow it's too soon and they don't get the recognition. And as I was also saying earlier, you know, people think fashion is progressive because it's really, there's so many women, so many gays, and it's not. The best thing, although the best thing you can do, at least in America, to be successful in fashion is to be a very attractive gay man. That's the best thing you can do.
Shit.
And I think women are not supported in fashion as they should be. I think people who are talented but don't have the hype are not. It's often like either a very attractive gay man or a very skinny, rich, white woman who's like the daughter of somebody famous or somebody rich or somebody glamour. And there's a place for everyone, but really we need to sort of support people who are being innovative and being talented. And again, one of the problems of that is what Paula's doing, for example, is more expensive or more labor intensive to participate in than just going to H&M or Zara to get like a knockoff of whatever the new Loewe or new Jacquemus look is. You know what I mean? So I think we all need to search out talent and support it. But for the designers, the thing is, as you see from Paula, she's been doing this for 13 years, been in fashion for 28 years, I think you said. And it's like, you got to just do it because you love it. And it's like, you're not going to get parades in your honor. You're not going to get awards. You're not going to get like big bags of money brought to your house. So you really just have to do it because you love it and find satisfaction in the creative process. So I'm sorry that's like not necessarily the answer you want to hear, but I think that is the reality of the fashion world.
Hey. Yeah. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye everybody. Thanks, Paula. Thanks, Helsinki Fashion Week. Thanks, Evelyn, for having us. Thanks, Dami, for your technical support.
Same.